Welcome, and today we're going to talk about Dynavap parts. This is going to be a little educational series on all the different parts of a Dynavap. We'll go over some different details a little more in depth than some of my other videos since we're going to break it down. And we're going to go over how each part works and just let you know really what it all comes down to. And we'll also touch a little base on how you can customize your experience using different parts. So for part one, we're going to start at the top of the device here, and we're going to talk about caps. So the Dynavap cap is basically the brains of the operation. This is where the click discs are housed that dictate what temperature you're stopping your heat at. And the way those click discs worked is they're basically little pieces of bimetallic metals that are shaped almost like an oval, like a weird shaped oval, and they're also bent a little bit. So what happens is when you heat the Vap Cap, they click and they warp a little bit as they heat up and expand. And then when they cool down, they click again like that. So a good thing to know about these two click discs is that from the factory, there's the factory set temperature. However, there is a tolerance of 5 to 7 degrees upwards or downwards. So you could potentially have one click disc that is at +4 and another click disc that's at -3. So when you heat the cap at the very bottom, which is where you will get the most slow heat up, which will make the click discs furthest apart, when they're very spread out, you have a higher factory tolerance variance between your two clicks. If those clicks if you heat down here and those clicks happen very close together, those click discs are calibrated very closely. And it's said that if you don't overheat your cap, you can get 3 to 5 years of life out of a cap using it 3+ times a day. If you overheat your cap and go past the clicks, it doesn't necessarily break the device. However, what happens is it pushes the discs a little bit out of calibration every time you do that. The discs will run a little bit hotter. And every time you do that, you shorten the lifespan of the click disc. Now, I know a lot of people push past the click a lot, and it's a common practice in the community. And it's not to say that you can't do it, but just know that every time you're doing it, you're shortening the life of the click disc just a little bit. Just a little bit. But still, if you're getting 3 to 5 years of use out of the click discs, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. All right, so moving down the cap, you have just the body of the cap. This is where you'll find the captivations. On the left, you have the non-captive. On the right, you have the captive. This was added a little later in development with Dynavap. The captivations grip the airflow grooves on the tip to better lock the cap on to the tip. The non-captive ones you had to shape in kind of ovular fashion to seat on the tip better. Where this comes into play a lot is with heating. The non-captive cap, since there's more surface area of the cap touching the tip, it will transfer more heat into the tip. Whereas the captive caps have just the bumps of the cap touching the tip, the heat transfer will happen less or slower. The other part the captivations play currently, since we've seen some release of Simrel's FMJ, is with the captive caps that allows the FMJ, since it's very heavy, to stay connected to the tip a lot better, and is almost necessary to have captive caps. The other thing you have to look for on the body of the cap is this symbol right here, which indicates that it is a low temp cap, meaning the click discs click at a lower temperature. This is something Dynavap developed for people who are interested in a more flavorful experience. You'll get multiple extractions out of a single load. So this can be a really fun experience when coupled with something like the Omni Tip, which has a lot of mass, giving you a very flavorful, long experience of an extraction. The body of the cap, where some of the special editions will be laser etched, like this 419 cap I have. You can see that this is a lot of where the designs, or if they're perforated, this is where the perforations will be, is on the body of the cap. Then moving down the cap, we have the digger outer, as it's called. This is a good little tool, on the go use sort of thing. You can scoop out your bowl, or you can take the tip off, and if it's an M device with a condenser, you can use it to gently push out the condenser to service your device. Other than that, that's pretty much all she wrote for the cap. Join us next time where we will be talking about tips. Stay lifted.